Yes, y'allin', discard them like blunt trash. Active more Avengers, call that a hawk smash. Your conscious coon sniffling booze and role models. Won't accept facts and just quarrel. No 5 principles, of course, no profit. Facebook and YouTube names they won't have on the docket. They say go fund me, and when you go fund them and get robbed, I say I told you, don't fund them. Still won't listen and call yourself deaf. While most say middle, my path is right hand or left. Some say your custom thinks we worship Baphomet. We just Sufis with trance for Mohammed. Offerings of fruit for oil and Oshun. If that won't work, we call in some Shangoons. Summon demons at the full blood and new moons. Pharaoh steel blade only escaped by a few coons. And those that escaped are on the run and stay running. Falling off the London Bridge or jumping. Nobody beats the Moors.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors. We studied from the masters, we know that's all reloaded. From Moorish Empire books to hip-hop decoded. Before modern decoders, we studied A.A. Rashid, Conscious Kent Hemet, Basil Lee, Man of Keen. Moore's water up the table round like common had soul. We got degrees by the pound, stay uplifting humanity. We got Moors near Japan and lands nether, and even Afghanistan. On every Atlantis island, Moors you find them repping Moorish nation, not Turtle Island. Island, when it's really a continent. Anybody saying Drew Ali's a myth incompetent. Claiming black and Indian nonsense, then begging active Moors to help you out your consequence. We still lend a hand, our first principle love. Realize, not a hand, just a stick in a glove.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors. On and on to the break of dawn. Many Negro black scholars coin tell pawns. Doing dirty work keep you deaf and dumb with no love, truth, peace, justice, or freedom. Moors have returned called the ancient ones. We are the copper tone natives, not the Asian ones. Feathers up in turbans, Allah's patient sons. Key man escaped shots from Smith's agent guns, or any coil to broke lands or ceased his plots. Not getting a slave name, talking to racist cops, violating oaths of office and ethics. Never knew I was a Moor, thought I was synthetic. Stop being skeptic, suddenly apologetic. You shut down the psychological warfare methods. Active Moors check it, see it as a lesson. Muftis will know their strength before the foes test it.
Nobody beats the
Nobody beats the Moors.
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 Nobody beats the Moors. Nobody beats the Moors. Nobody beats the Moors. Nobody beats the Moors. Nobody beats the Moors. Nobody beats the Moors. Nobody beats the Moors. Nobody beats the Moors.
As I jump off my mind's cliff into subconscious depths, knowing my higher and knowing my lower self, falling past my thoughts that got me in trouble. Realizing ego is a burstable bubble. Falling backwards seems like there's no end or bottom. Cut out the good. I see no thoughts rotten. No modern Europeans mentality, all Asiatic. The scent of this fall, aromatic. Tea tree oil and frankincense so intense. Demons beaten from outside make no indents. Plus no entrance without the mastermind key. Thoughts of Allah wasn't Allah, but actually me. Divine being, a national, actual, factual, more scientist, seeing things mathematical. Law is length, angle, and width. With mind strength, mangle a sith. When devil's horse burning, sulfur a whiff. Lower self, third eyes crushed, that's the weed in my split. From these lows, the only way to uplift. 40 days and 40 nights working the graveyard shift. Battling zombies, which are my own that exist. playing my emotions as string strum or Congo drums, seeing things and hearing sounds, no fear around, looking down, not seeing the ground, but feeling my crown, pulsating so profound, soul unbound. Inhale for 7, hold for 4, exhale for 7, hold for 4. Double door 11, walk through the gateway frame of eternal flames. No burns, no regard, unreal as unreal, no blame. My pure freedom and bliss, demigod trying to contain. On my journey of learning fear, embracing pain. Since love heals on the path of living cognizance, patience is a virtue. I'd rather take the long distance, aware mental clearness, mind's tailless with fierceness. All it seduced to get me locks and beardless. Electromagnetic helix, induce the voltage, begging ancestors to increase the dosage, produce a strong field, rubbing together shaman stone balls, releasing the stress, calling Orishas, decreasing my breath. But are you really breathing? Knowing or believing? I master fruition and receiving from birthright retrieving. Are you in trance without doing a ritual dance? Paralysis, magic reversal on the square stance. Harmonic lyrical mudra from Islam Sutra. Elevate thoughts, wake up your inner Sibyls and Buddhas. Master your will, not desires. Awaken Kundalini fires. True spoken to MCs higher. Medusa, you liars. Bagging heads and horns and tails for our mystic functions. Ritualistic. Perched at the junction where demons go to and fro, dressed as the sheeple, selling them rights, civil and pseudo rights equal. Blood flowing past a horse brow didn't circle your passion. Celestial thread of my ancestors, tailored my fashions, fooling people with their words and people not watching their actions. Ignorance of law is no excuse when something happens. Feeling eyes and reading postures, moving bionic. Monsanto seeds turn you psychopharmaceutical chronic. Got their eyes bloody, blood money for blood money. They gave me nothing, so can't take nothing from me. I love the quote, you will respect but don't have to love me. They gave me nothing, so can't take nothing from me. Islam wars. Peace and love to all worldwide. We're here for our Tuesday session, Canaanland Mars class. Every Tuesday, right here. Right here, every Tuesday. Today we might be all over the place since a lots going on. But we want to start off today with giving honors to all the mothers. We want to say peace and love to all of the mothers out there, especially the mothers who are suffering at the hands of some bitch ass nigger who can't keep his hands and his words and whatever else to himself. And these so-called men or whatever that like to disrespect mother. Now, you know, You know, people talk crazy, but you don't slap mother. You throw your phone on the wall or something like that. You go take something that doesn't have feelings and kick that thing's ass. Don't mess around with mother. And if there's any Moors out there, if you're L or Bay or whatever, and you're playing nigger, touching mother, you're in supreme violation. Right? Certain people are in supreme violation from a long time. So this sister's just trying to be a good mother. That's all. You know, brother Omar and I were building yesterday or today. We were talking about this thing about how we're so messed up. Like we're so messed up as far as our family. And then because our family's messed up, obviously our relationships with whoever we have a relationship with is going to be messed up. And the brilliance of Noble Drew Ali to take certain things and make them divine. So that once again, we can have a template. So we can start fixing our issues. So this is for all the punk asses out there who never heard about Noble Drew Ali before or whatever. You know, those L's and Bays and whoever else want to try to disrespect mother. Duty of a husband. Take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. But examine with care and fix not suddenly. Examine with care. And this is not some stuff about, oh yeah, I'm not a husband, so this doesn't apply to me. No. Stop the BS. This is for all the males. We're just talking husband to make the point. But only males are husbands. So stop the BS about some ring or some cowrie shell around your neck or whatever like that. You're married. Get the hell out of here. If you're single, you're still a husband because you're a male.
Right.
Are you out throwing something there, more? Or are you good?
Islam.
Islam, boy.
Just to add on in the beginning where it says it calls the mother Allah.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to make correlative to with the incident with the sister with you know, people, men putting their hands on women. When you look at that, it's just like, Dad, man, you just put your hands on Allah.
Yeah. Straight.
Like, you just put your hands on Allah. Like, that's major. You know, like, we have to really look at that. Like, even if you do it, like, from a dogma point of view, you know what I mean? Like if you do it from man in the sky, higher being or whatever, that's the way you just put your hands on them.
Yep.
Like what do you like what did you just do, man? You just put your hands on Allah.
Right. What are you doing? Why is your hand even extended to touch?
To Allah.
To Allah. You're going far if your hands aren't by your side when Allah's around or whatever, or she give you permission to move.
Yes.
And that's real, right? Take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Sounds like he's talking about the wife to me.
And obey the ordinances of Allah. You putting your hands on, and like you said too, and do not fix suddenly. If you get past the first part, you look at the first part, you automatically know you're not fixing that.
Right.
What do you mean fixing that suddenly? That's Allah. You trying to fix it or put your hands on someone, like you're not putting your hands on anyone. You're not gonna fix Allah if Allah has already known who she is and stuff like that. Like you're definitely not fixing that. And the mother and the sister, she knows she a more. So there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to try to put in. Oh, you need to try to do this. Like, nope. She already knows who she is.
Yep. She
knows she's Allah. And then you're gonna go put your hands on that. That karmic debt is gonna be extreme.
Yep.
Extreme.
Remember, called it on himself too.
Yep.
Begging for it. Supposed to work with Allah.
Yep.
Supposed to work with Allah and have Allah work in your favor. Not put hands on Allah. But examine with. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because like you said too, for the Moors who know they Moors and know these principles, if you going around putting your hands on the mother, that's supreme violation. Because you already know.
Yep.
You know, just like we saying it right now. You know exactly what we're saying because you say it to yourself. You read it. And for you to continue on doing what you're doing, supreme violation. Our whole thing is to uplift fallen humanity. And who was he holding? Mother. And now you're hitting mother. Remember the picture, Grand Sheik, somebody had drew with the mother on the ground, laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And the scimitar, that's what that reminded me of.
See if I find them.
Like you knocked out humanity. You stabbed humanity in the back by putting your hands on her. We only as strong as our women. If you putting your hands on the women, and that physically, emotionally does to her. What's that going to do to her nation that she produces, her children? You know what I mean? That stuff's still going to be traumatized on her.
Oh yeah, hold on. Since you're talking about traumatizing mother, let me just put this picture up so you could make your point. The same one you were talking about. Drop mother.
Yep. Trauma.
All right, there you go, Mark.
Yeah. And you got the traumatized mothers. Now, and then we wonder, what's wrong with our women? And then before we can go into that too, because you already know, all of it. That's why it's a supreme violation for a Moor to put his hands on a mother, because the whole thing is principles. It goes right back to nationality. If we had our nationality and our culture, which was stripped and we forgot about if we still was going on the 5 principles and stuff like that, we would automatically know that not all the, like, that wouldn't even be a thought to put your hands on mother. That wouldn't be a thought if we still had our culture. So there goes right back again to nationality. You know, that's probably, like, that's why I said it has to be supreme violation for more to do it. So that's why I know it had to be so-called black guy who don't know himself who would do something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm like? Because you can't be a more know this information and you walking around putting your hands on mother. Like, that's crazy. Negro, colored, black, you don't lost your culture. You don't know who you are. You know, your history started on a slave ship. Yeah, you did. That might be a, you know, even you can't even say that because even Negro, colored, black, we already knew you can't put your hands on no woman. So you can't even give them that excuse. You're just not supposed to do that. Period.
Automatic.
You're just not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that.
Sure.
So them doing it is supreme violation. And that, like I said before, that right there, that what traumatizes the nation. That part right there, that's the abuse part on the Moabite. Physically, emotionally. That is what is deteriorating the nation because she creates the nation. She brings in the children. So if she has that trauma on her head, you know, thoughts and whatever, like especially like because there's Moabites who are pregnant with child right now who are going through that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That stress on the baby when the baby ruining nations. You know, and then when that baby come out, he sees the man doing that to the mother. So whatever that baby grows up, that's gonna traumatize that baby, ruining nations.
Yeah. Ruining
whole nations doing that. They just think that little 5-minute, 10, 15-minute fight you had was just, that was it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a whole trickle-down effect for generations. But they just thinking, you know, oh, they wasn't listening. Brother, you didn't see. What did the prophet say? And obey Allah. Take a wife and obey her.
Yep.
You over here talking about she wasn't listening. Oh, okay. You must have didn't have any more apples left. You must have didn't have any more apples left.
Man, ran out of apples. Don't run out of apples. Don't run out of apples.
You must have ran out of apples.
You run out of apples, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
That's right. You should have a whole orchard in the backyard. A whole orchard ready to give it to mother.
Ready.
Because that's all we can do. That's all we can do. Just give her apples. Ain't no arguing, none of that. Even when we arguing, we right, we wrong. We still don't feel right at night. Going to sleep like that. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, because that's men, we just lose. Just lose the battle. Just lose the argument. Just lose, man.
Yeah. Don't fight
Just give it up.
Don't fight
Just give it up. We shouldn't even be an argument in the first place.
Right. But again, you know, we already know that both sides have issues. You know what I mean? So we're not even beating up on the assailants. We're definitely not beating up on the victims.
Right.
You know? But there has to be some acknowledgement that it's time to correct that. You know what I mean? We're doing something messed up right now. We need to do something. You know? So again, like every time there's something, some type of whatever situation, you know, every time there's some situation, regardless of which gender is, you know, making the complaint or whatever. all the remedies in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple. Like all the remedy is there. Some things, you know what I mean, because of ego, you're not going to be down with.
Exactly.
Right?
True.
Because of ego,
yep.
You're going to say, nah, I'm not going to listen to what Noble Drawley said in that part or whatever. No, but all the solving our problems, that's why we keep giving honors to what he did by us proclaiming our nationality and being Els and Bays and Days and Als and Alis. We're giving honors to him by saying we're not name on the birth certificate. We're what we say we are, and we're putting Elder Bay on that. We're honoring him. Don't think you're just doing some paper or whatever like that. Don't think that's not tied to Noble Drawley because they didn't put him on the paper or his picture's not there or that's giving honors to him. And once we put in this literature, once we insert this literature, we're gonna receive our remedies. But we have to insert the literature. It just can't just be some book that we just read or whatever. This has to be applicable. This has to be operative with Moors. This has to be in action. You say we're Moors because Holy Quran of Moorish Science Temple of America saved my relationship. Because I went and I read Duty of a Husband, and immediately my mate didn't have any issues with it. We read it together, and she's down with that. Regardless of what. Anything goes up, we're going to that. And we're going to say, oh, see, they're just right there that you shouldn't have whatever. So yeah, you make some oaths or whatever near that you're not going to keep. How about since you're Els and Bays? Let's really use what he left. Whatever else it is that you got issues with. What other issues you got? It's in there. So that we could be redeemed and become faithful members of society in unity. Because we realize that once everybody obeys the ordinance of Allah, we ain't got no issues. But people have egos. People have cross spirits. They don't even know themselves. You go black out, wake up, and they're in the chair talking about, I didn't do it. Too late now. So again, just to quickly recap, because you didn't really get too much. So I got a call. And this mother is talking about, you know, the Terminator 2 movie in the mall when they're fighting in the mall? You know the movie? Any movie where there's like some throwing stuff, and especially when you're dealing with you know, superhero stuff and all that stuff, they want to throw a man and then he bends the metal thing because he got through in the thing. So she's telling me about, you know, her lips busted or whatever. head, just whole head hurting, cuts, freaking nails, all nails on fingers broken. Because she was with this individual. He did some BS, having nothing to do with violence or whatever like that. She left. Right? She just left, you know what I mean? Everything. She was thinking to herself, I should get a restraining order. But nah, you know what I mean? I'm a mother. That's my son, and why would I call the European on my brother? And so I'm just gonna be as simplified as I can and just leave the situation, you know, with notice or whatever. So she moved or whatever. She gets a knock on the door last night or hear something or something. However it happened. There's a woman that comes with him. The woman is there to lay the beat down because Buddy doesn't want to do the beat down so that she can know, you know, don't leave him or some BS. She's brawling with the woman who's there with the ex. Brawling. Like they're brawling. Now, mother's not a slouch or whatever, you know. Mother's been around, so she has a certain mindset. And her mindset was defense because the assailant was fat. So she's like, all right, I'm just going to run around her or whatever, like wear her out, and then I'm going to beat her ass or whatever. Did the run around. And then beat her ass. Beat her ass to the point where this guy had to jump in. Now, this guy and her are fighting. Remember, this is like mother of the children and all of that stuff. She starts beating his ass.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
He starts beating his ass, right? After, like, you know, the other lady pulled her hair and all types of madness or whatever. So, bam, they get in the ride or whatever like that, they run. Now, one thing crazy is that she's in a gated community that you have to buzz to get in. So it's something where, like, he was tailing or whatever somebody else in order to get into the freaking thing, right? Now, this is all about Prevention is better than cure. So just want to put this article out there, so you know that it's all about control. So as soon as you see it, you know what it is, so you don't end up in a situation like the mother. You know, she beat their ass. Right? She had the cure. So, you know what I mean? You know, called highwayman and all that. Because now, you know, if you're violating, I'm going to call them for your punk ass. Call them, you know what I mean? They find them or whatever like that. Arrest them. The whole stuff. Come to find out, the fat thing that he came with, she was on the clock. She was on the clock of her government job. It's freaking crazy. She was on the clock of her.
That's crazy.
Yo, she was on the clock of her government job. Remember, it's supposed to be shut down and stuff, right? She was on the clock at her government job, right?
Working for free, mad. That's why she was over there. She
tried to make a quick 500.
That's right.
You think we could win? Yeah. She's skinny or whatever. We'll beat her ass. Yeah, right.
Yep.
They got messed up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Right? She's on her job. You leave it out because, you know, it's bigger than whatever now. You know what I mean? But that's how crazy it is. Right? Now, remember, she did prevention. She left the situation. It's not like she orchestrated this happening. Like, this is months past that she left. Then all of a sudden,
it's been over.
Yeah, is there some new stuff just over?
Wow.
All of a sudden, this man read How to Kill a Mockingbird and then he turns into freaking killer or whatever. You know what I mean? You know.
Yep.
Because on another level, she's been battling with, you know, the children's people who like to kidnap people's stuff. Right? So even though she got the upper hand on them because they basically, you know, played themselves. You know, it might not be like that for everybody. Because majority of people, 2-on-1, you lose. So prevention first. It's all about control. Whether alcohol and drug abuse is a factor or not, domestic violence and abuse is a very serious problem for the victims and the abusers. Although statistics seem to indicate some link between alcohol, drug abuse, and domestic violence, others believe that they are two separate issues. Domestic abuse is not so much about a loss of control as it is about total control. Ironically, many batterers, they have a name and shit.
Yeah,
Batterers. I never heard that one before. Batterers.
can you spell that?
Batteers.
What? Oh, that's crazy.
Batterers.
That's a word. I gotta look that up. I'd love to look that up.
Batterers. Ironically, many batterers do not see themselves as perpetrators, but as victims. This reasoning is common among batterers. Most enter treatment programs heavily armored with elaborate denial systems designed to justify or excuse their actions. That's the same thing that the Negroes, black, conscious whoever's do. When you bring up morals, they're heavily armed with elaborate denial systems to convince them that they're not Moors.
What are they called? Batterers?
Batterers.
Batterers. Oh, I'm never forgetting that.
Batterers. Right? And remember, the elaborate denial systems are designed to justify or excuse their actions that they do. Like running up into mother's spot with a fat girl to go beat somebody up. Something justified that to them. Like, what is it? This is why we said inside the mind, behind the veil. What kind of mindset do you have to justify you doing something that you know you can't get out of it? You know, after you cross that line, it's pretty much over after you cross the line. Like, there's no going back. Where are you in your mind? Where are they in their mind? Right?
Slum, more.
Yeah, more.
If you wanted that definition of batterer, it comes from batter, which is I'm coming from the Oxford Dictionary. It comes from batter, but it has batterer in it, where it says a maltreater, an abuser, or a molester, a child molester. So it has those three definitions: an abuser, a maltreater, and a child molester. That's what a batterer is.
Damn. You need any more than that to know that people are way off? And we're talking about generic mother, Brother Conway L. Not somebody's mother. That's why he arrived late. All about control. There are varying theories about what makes batterers use abuse with those closest to them. One view is that batterers are hardened criminals who commit their crimes in a conscious, calculated manner to achieve the dominance they believe men are entitled to. Others believe abuse is the product of deep psychological and developmental scars, which are not gender specific. Right? So think about these deep psychological and developmental scars that we have, stuff that we had when we were growing up, that we experienced. That might have had us thinking a certain way about things just based on the psychological trauma that we had from whatever situation. That we're an adult and we're still doing things from that initial trauma. All these cures are what you go to the Quran for, the Red Book for. Create new neural pathways. Because everything starts with how we think. And there are certain things that we might not be able to deal with. There's people that go to their grave mad at their mom. And there's some BS that you could have just said, hey, you do whatever. And then you would have got a response, be like, oh, damn, that's what it was? I'm mad for 20 years because of that BS? Yeah, that's a good one. Dr. Jewel Pookrum. If you're anybody dealing with some type of psychological trauma, you get some Dr. Jewel Pookrum books and watch some of her lectures and study from her perspective. Again, dealing with that same concept that everything is mental. Experts have reached a consensus on several common characteristics among batterers. They are controlling, manipulative, often see themselves as victims, and believe that men have a preordained right to be in charge of all aspects of a relationship. One study found that in many cases, acts of domestic violence are mate retention behaviors. That is, actions taken by one partner to try to preserve and maintain their relationship with the other partner. Mate retention behaviors. For some abusers, violence is a tool to keep their intimate partner from leaving the relationship or keeping them from being unfaithful, even if it means physically forcing them to stay. One batterer who has gone through treatment says the beatings, the verbal abuse, and the intimidation were all about control. It was like having a new toy. I had the buttons and I could make her do whatever I wanted. I was trying to intimidate her. I wanted to control her for the simple reason that I knew I could do it. It made me feel powerful. And we already know power is an illusion. To be in that power is an illusion, you're actually not feeling powerful. He or she is really not powerful. Because remember, this is a behavior. The fact that they're saying the control makes them feel like they have a new toy, lets you know how child mind like they are. Lets you know that that's what the trauma is stemming from. Some childhood, that's the reference point. As soon as you're in some relationship and you're dealing with abuse, it's all about get out of that. Don't try to work anything out and see if something's gonna whatever. It's all about get out. Because the cycle is gonna continue as long as it's allowed to continue. And the only way that it's allowed to continue is by you being in it. Without you, there's no cycle. The issues of power and control are essential to an understanding of domestic violence. Domestic abuse occurs in relationships where conflict is the continuous result of power, inequality between the partners, and one partner is afraid of and harmed by the other. Although it can vary from case to case and doesn't take into account other forms of domestic abuse, the cycle of violence is a model for understanding violent behavior. A simplified version of the cycle and phrases are build-up phase, the tension builds, standover phase, verbal attacks increase, explosion phase, a violent outburst occurs. So at that point there, that's the third phase of knowing that he's nuts. So, or she's nuts. Because we know that there's women batterers too. So this is for all the men even who are getting their ass beat by some woman, and you're thinking that, you know, you have to take that. You don't have to take that. You got personal space too that she can't violate. But know that you're going to feel the tension building, which is the first phase. Right? Because again, when we're talking about when you talk about people's emotions, those things are energy. So you be able to feel things. You have to be open to even the concept to be able to feel. But that you would be able to know. Verbal attacks increase. Standover phase. Standover phase. Verbal attacks. Explosion phase. Violent outbursts occurs. Now the next three are the stuff that you let pass, which you shouldn't have let pass because it should have let you know that he's playing you. Remorse phase. The remorse phase is where, again, where is it at? The heavily armored, elaborate denial systems to justify or excuse the violent action toward you. There's no excuse. And we're not talking about, you know what I mean? Some lovers quarrel or whatever. We're not talking about some shallow whatever. We're talking about hands. We're talking about violence. We're talking about people needing their lip sewed back together because guy got a good punch in. Because we just got the call, so we already know this is going down. When we're talking about this, and we know that it's probably happening with Moors. It's probably going on with somebody you know. You might be able to take some of this stuff and hear them tell you some things, and because of this stuff that you're getting, you be able to help them. Get out of whatever they're getting into. Like I said, mother's talking about it was like fighting for her life. He might try to kill me. He might try. Let me beat both their asses just in case they try. All right. Again, the remorse phase, blaming you, having some type of excuse, hit you because of whatever. Well, you should have just did the dishes. If it did the dishes, then you wouldn't have got it and whatever. Don't fall for none of that BS. As soon as he catches you with a good one, you already know that the remorse is on the way. Pursuit phase. Pursuit phase is them being overly apologetic. Pursuit phase is can't buy me love. Right? That's what you should be singing when pursuit phase happens. Because he's going to be trying everything to make you stay. It's not that bad. It's just brown. It's not purple eye. Don't worry about it. Let's put some makeup on it. You'll be all right. And then the honeymoon phase, where a lot of people are at that are in this. Because of false education appearing real. People just can't cross the line. They say get out of it. Honeymoon phase is when wearing, makeup becomes normal. Wearing long clothes, hiding bruises. Honeymoon phase.
Crazy.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just saying that's just crazy, man.
Yo.
And that's all of that, because I know what you're saying, man. I've seen, seen a lot of, and growing up watching it until when you get older and you're still witnessing it, and it's like, yo, that stuff is crazy, man.
Toxic.
Crazy.
Man. It's crazy.
Crazy. People almost losing their life, like literally. Hospital, all of that. People, I remember, I know a Moabite who, in that situation, because, like you said, one good one, and it broke her jaw, but was, like I said earlier, pregnant or whatnot, and had to have the baby. But when she had the baby, her mouth was wired shut because her jaw was broke.
Oh.
Craziest thing I ever seen in my life, man.
Ooh.
Craziest thing I ever seen in my life. I'm like, yo, this stuff is not a game.
That is crazy.
Man, in the hospital almost all for a year. Because he learned his lesson, though. Put his hands on the Moabite. Bet you he'll never do it again. She gave him that great little lesson. Don't you ever put your hands on me again.
Great lesson.
His behind was in the hospital for a year. Had to learn how to walk again. All of that.
For real.
All of that. So it worked both ways. I'm pretty sure that Moabite who beat them both up, I'm pretty sure they ain't gonna come back over there.
Yeah, probably not.
And they ain't coming back over there ever again.
Yeah. Straight.
But that stuff is not a game, man. That stuff is serious. Ruin whole children, whole so-called, because that word family, but, the whole family. Everybody in there, just traumatized from that. And it don't even, like I said before, it could be physical or emotional. Just with words. We already know the power of words. You know what I mean? You can just be beating them down with just words, which can be almost as worse as the physical. You know what I mean? The person who you think loves you dearly is giving you the most put downs or whatever, treating you the worst and whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't just necessarily have to be physical. It can just be running their mouth all day. And, just the energy walk. That's why, us studying, we already know about the energies and stuff like that. Different energies, not adding up, coming in. I was just reading the thing about matter, which, energy is everything, matter is everything. But just with us looking at things, we can change the matter. Like anything, because everything is matter. So if we look at anything, we can change the matter. But then, I know how people like to look like, oh, I can, look at whatever and make it move or whatever. But just on a regular thing, first thing I thought was like, like if somebody, how if somebody's looking at you, we be like, yeah, feeling like, wow, they was looking at me like that right there, the energy, like just off the look, it can control matter. And I was like, oh, we do that all the time. Just by the way you looked at somebody, you ain't even gotta talk.
Yeah.
Just the way you looked at somebody, you can control the energy. You can just by the way you looked at, I was like, wow, we do that. every day. You know, like my son, he looks at me to see where I'm at, and I try to not be like that because I don't want to be mad in front of him, but he's always watching me to see where I'm at because he wants to. But I don't have to talk. That's why he's watching me because I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to yell or nothing like that. But he's watching me because he wants to see my energy. And when I read that, I was like, oh wow. We got powers, and we take it. We don't look at it like that. You know what I mean? We don't look at it. I'm like, yo, that's a type of X-Men power thing right there. Like you can really control energy just by the way you looked at someone. You know, that was so it doesn't really like again. You don't have to put your hands on somebody to control them or say anything. You can do it just by looking at them. So it's all different types of abuse, man. We're powerful people. You know, that's why, as Moors, our first principle is love. Because if we look at how powerful we are, our energies are very powerful. So we focus our energy more on love than on the negatives. We can do it'd be a beautiful thing. That's why I started to know. I was like, oh, we use a lot of our powers for bad, But then we don't look at it like it's a power. We just take advantage. We just look at it like it's something regular. Like if somebody walked by me, I'm gonna look at them like da 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 da. Not. But if you look at that, scientifically, that's amazing that you can do that. You could just look at somebody like that and make them change their whole demeanor, right? Yeah. They can just be having a joyous day.
Mess them up. Mess them right up.
Yeah.
Mess them right up with some eye contact.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it works. The eye contact. If the eye contact, you see a Moabite and y'all give eye contact, and it's not like we got interest in each other or whatnot. So you give each other that energy of eye contact. You know what I mean? It's another form of it. Like it doesn't necessarily have, or how you and your boy or something in the room, somebody say something, and all you gotta do is look at your boy. That's that energy right there. You ain't even gotta say nothing. Y'all just look at each other, and you already know.
What's up.
You already know. That's you working with your power just by off a look. Mm-hmm. That's why, and that's why I was like, oh, that's where that they be like, oh, we didn't even have to talk. They can just, that's another form of energy. That's right. We didn't have to talk. We can just basically look at each other. But they was doing with the mind too. But that's another. So if you're looking at it like physical, you can do it with just words. You can control energy physically with just words and with your eyes. You know what I mean? Now, look, if we do that scientifically, break that down. Like, now what are we looking at? You know what I mean? Like, because it's other. Looks like if we can control energy with using all five senses. But according to Dr. Aline, we got more than five senses.
That's true.
So we can use, if we tune in with all those senses and try to control energy. Now we looking at, like you said, then we are God people. We're powerful people, man.
Yeah.
We're powerful people. Yeah. I know I'm going off subject a little bit.
No, you straight, boy. You straight.
I was studying, and it was in the chakras. It was talking about the 12 portals.
Mm.
And I was like, 12 portals? I was like, what's the 12 portals? And okay, two things. Another, to add on to that story, C. Freemanel, he was in his lectures, he was talking about how you ever just a thought popped in your head. He said, that's your you've been here before, and you took some information with you, you came back, and you'd be like, oh, you just smart for no reason, and then just out of nowhere, that thought came. Like, it happened to me, you know, so I'm studying in the 12, back to the 12 portals. I was like, what 12 portals, you know, of the human body? And then I'm like, 12 portals? What 12 portals of the human body? I looked at my Moabite. I said, how many holes you got? Out of nowhere. And she was like, what? Why would you ask me something like that? Because I know it's not me. You know what I mean? I know it's not me. It's you. I know it's you. Because you're Allah. You know what I mean? So I know it's not me. And then, so we sat there. I was like, damn, you got 12 holes? I was like, oh my God, here's the temple. And I kept reading the book. And it was talking about the 12 portals, with it being with the temple and stuff like that. And I was like, you're the real temple. You're it. You. Looking at it like they're talking about you. Like it's all about you, mother.
It's all about mother. All about mother.
Had me going crazy. I was like, the 12 portals just looked at it. How many holes you got? How many holes you got?
12. And 12's the answer. That's nuts.
Yep, 12 is the answer.
Yeah, that's nuts.
12 is the answer.
That's too nuts. Too nuts. National stats. Every 12 seconds, a woman is abused by her intimate partner. Damn, that's crazy. 37% of pregnant women are battered during pregnancy, including blows to the abdomen. See, like those ones there? Those ones are the ones where you just drag a dude to or whatever. Like that's serious violating.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's crazy. There are more animal shelters than there are shelters for victims of domestic violence. There are more animal shelters. Going back to, again, what we were talking about, that Chihuahua gets shot and people getting fired or whatever. You kill a Negro and you get overtime.
Crazy, right?
Domestic violence running rampant, but animals have more shelters than domestic violence victims. Animals have more shelters than them.
Yeah. Crazy.
Think they're not playing people? These numbers are staggering. And remember, this is only what is reported. Imagine how many more women are being abused but never reported it. And then numbers growing. The numbers not going down. Numbers growing. So remember earlier we were talking about the violence cycle, the cycle of violence. Right? The tension, the explosion, the honeymoon, the types of abuse, emotional, killing a pet, playing mind games. Killing a pet is emotional abuse?
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Like you said, yeah, like Islam, like you said, though, the highwaymen get fired for killing the dog, but they get overtime when they kill niggas. But really, I seen it where, you know, because they were or they have to resign or something like that. And I'm like, well, resigning is different because resign, that means you still get your pension.
Exactly.
So you still getting paid.
Resign ain't nothing. Resign ain't nothing. Or killed for ones that you killed already, or paid for the ones you killed already.
Right.
So emotional,
Crazy.
verbal, name calling, sexual, forced sex while asleep, or based on the Bible. What? I don't even want to know what that was. Physical, killing, punching, choking. Technological, GPS system, Facebook sabotage. Technological abuse.
Yep.
What the hell
That's
is
another one.
What the hell is GPS technological abuse? What, like they what, hunt them down or something?
That's that the tracker in the phone.
Yeah, but what, like, how is that? What, like, what would they be doing? As far for how, like, do they mean that they're abusing the technology? I guess they're using it.
Yeah.
They're using it messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's supposed to be like if you lost something. That's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be keeping tabs on somebody.
That's messed up.
They doing that to be able to see where you at.
Abuser, batterer profile. Questioning constantly about whereabouts. Jealous of time you spend away from him or her. So jealousy. Controlling behavior. Controlling behavior from the perspective of you can't leave the house or whatever. Or you can't brush your teeth because I have to do mine first or something crazy. Right? So like overbearing controlling behavior. Controlling in every aspect. Right? Isolation. So keeping him or her to yourself or to themselves. Forcing sexual interaction against his or her will. Holds very rigid gender roles. Holds very rigid gender roles. Like talking about he's the king of the castle and this is his castle or whatever like that. Making you feel subordinate. All they keep talking about to cure these people is therapy. But, you know, if you're going to a therapist, if you're going to the rapist, you're probably not going to get fixed. The rapist, therapist. Don't go to them with your problems. Please don't go to them. But we will go to our Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And after we went through all that, so we could pinpoint who these losers are that love to violate mother. Now let's put on the record what the duty of man is. Take unto thyself a wife, and obey the ordinance of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. But examine with care and fix not suddenly. Only thy present choice depends on thy future happiness. If much of her time is destroyed in dress and adornment, if she is enamored with her own beauty and delighted with her own praise, if she laugheth much and talketh loud, if her foot abideth not in her father's house, and her eyes with the boldness rove on the faces of men, though her beauty were as the sun in the firmament of heaven, turn thy face from her charms, turn thy feet from her paths, and suffer not thy soul to be ensnared by the allurements of imagination. Because these are things to look for. So you don't have to be ending up in a situation where you have to backhand somebody or whatever because they're talking crazy. You just take anything walking just because ass is fat or whatever. Because again, and remember, this is the prophet telling you. If much of her time is destroyed in dress and adornment, let it take 5 hours to put on an eyelash and all that type of stuff. If she is enamored with her own beauty and delighted with her own praise, you know them types. I know you know some of those types. If she laugheth much and talketh loud, you know those ones too. 2 feet away from their friend, yelling. And then dummy friends there just letting her yell in her ear. Why are you yelling? Shut the hell up. I'm right here. If her foot abideth not in her father's house, and her eyes with boldness rove on the faces of men, though her beauty were as the sun in the firmament of heaven, turn thy face from her charms, turn thy feet from her paths, and suffer not thy soul to be ensnared by the allurements of imagination. That's how much of a force a distorted mother is. That if you get caught up in the allurements of imagination, that's like losing your soul.
Yeah.
Lose your soul because of a siren? Didn't realize that she was a siren. You didn't read the Quran. Oh, you're not a Moor. You didn't know. Oh, sorry for you. Sorry for you out here. But when thou findest sensibility of heart, joined with softness of manners, an accomplished mind, with a form agreeable to thy fancy, take her home to thy house. She is worthy to be thy friend, thy companion in life, and wife of thy bosom. Friend, companion in life, and wife. How many people, just for yourself, how many people can look at the relationship that bore them and see if it's based in any of these things, that he or she found sensibility of the heart, joined with the softness of manners, accomplished mind, with a form agreeable to thy fancy, got taken home to the house, and was a friend, companion, and wife of thy bosom. I put my hand up and said, no, we can't. My parents divorced. You have the lessons. Then realize that she is worthy to be thy friend. Not just to be wife only. To be thy friend. To be thy companion.
That works.
Go ahead, one.
Yeah. So I wanted that. When I first read that, when it said to be thy friend, it was just, it hit me so hard because, like, me and my Moabite, we was the coolest friends in the world forever. And then we started, you know, the whatever, you know, dating or whatever stuff. But we was just friends. We was the bestest friends. You know what I mean? Like, we were just cool. Like, chill. Nothing was going on. I think she was like, because this is the high school stuff too. We got together, my goodness, like 13 years. So this has been forever. But you know, just the coolest friends, man. That was the coolest thing. And when I read that, I was like, yeah, we was friends forever. Forever, we was just friends. You know, and then it just was like, well, we might as well. You know, it was just like, that's how it was. You know, it was just like, well, we might as well.
Friends like that, why not, yo? Why not?
Right. You know everything about me. I know everything about you. We have a good time together and laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Can't, you know, because we know each other. That's when they be like, you know, you got to get to know each other. Yeah. Not just going out to eat a couple times. No, we didn't do that. You know, we was chilling. We was doing things. You know what I mean? We was cool. You know, so when I read that, it hit me. I was like, "Yup, that's right. Right. That helps big time being friends."
Yeah. What about the stuff from before?
Which part?
Like with the other side, the ones who weren't friends or whatever, the ones that were just for dress and adornment and, you know, conceited in their own stuff and whatever.
Oh, you find out quick fast. That's where the craziness is at. That's what you find out quick fast. That's where the craziness is at. You be like, wait a minute, bro. This is not what it's supposed to be like. Yeah. You know what? But you know, some dudes, they just force. They be like, nah. You know, because the illusion got them. You know, the imagination got them. They got warped into those hours of beauty for her behind the makeup and the way she looking, and they're like, you know what? I just deal with the problem just because the way she looked. And I was, what? Are you crazy? Like, no, we're not dealing with that. Out of control. Like, no, I don't care about none of that. Peace of mind is where it's at. You know, that's where it, you know, being able to lay down good. That's where it's at.
Oh, cherish her.
You know?
As a blessing sent to thee from heaven. Cherish her like a blessing sent to thee from heaven. Let the kindness of thy behavior endear thee to her heart. She is the mistress of thy house. Treat her therefore with respect, that thy servants may obey her. And just keep in mind, the mistress etymology is not the BS that we've been told or whatever. The mistress is the master. The mistress is the governess.
That's right.
The mistress is the housekeeper and the teacher. The mistress has authority over the servants. That's how we know Noble Drew Ali taught etymology, because he told you right here that she is a mistress of thy house. Treat her therefore with respect, so thy servants may obey her. The word mistress etymology goes back to having authority over the servants. Drew Ali was teaching Moors etymology right in their face. Oppose not her inclination without cause. She is the partner of thy cares. Make her also the companion of thy pleasures. Reprove her faults with gentleness. Exact not her obedience with rigor. Trust thy secrets in her breast. Her counsels are sincere. Thou shalt not be deceived. Be faithful to her bed, for she is a mother of thy children. When pain and sickness assault her, let thy tenderness soothe her affliction, and look for thee of pity and love shall alleviate her grief, or instigate her pain, and be of more avail than 10 physicians. Be of more avail than 10 physicians. If you have a Moabite, and then you're complaining about something, just remember 10 physicians. That's how you have to look out for her. And remember, this Noble Drew Ali talking for all the Moors out there who want to put their hands on mother or whatever. Don't forget, Drew Ali said you have to look out for her like 10 physicians. 10 physicians. You want stuff to go right in your household or whatever? Take what Noble Drew Ali, take the little stuff that Noble Drew Ali brought you and just try it and see. Try it for a week. That's the challenge out there. If you really about what Noble Drew Ali brought, go read that Duty of a Husband. Read that Duty of a Husband and implement that. And after the week, send an email, canaanlandguide@gmail.com, and give us the testimonial. Let us know how it went. Taking Noble Drew Ali's lessons and applying it to your life. Immediate relationship life. And then send your email after a week and let us know. Or, do 2 weeks, do a month, whatever. See what's good. Consider the tenderness of her sex and delicacy of her frame, and be not severe to her weakness, but remember thine own imperfections. Right? Duty of a Husband, chapter 22. Right, and then keep in mind that there's also holy instructions for thy children and the obedience of children toward their father.
Yeah.
Right? Ain't no duty of no wife because she's the mistress. She's the master. She don't need no directions. She has to do is be herself. Be Allah. Go look up the 99 quote unquote attributes or names or whatever of Allah. Be those. Mother. And then because now we look at mother as master, oh, you better go read master and servant now. And take master and servant from a whole different perspective. And know that master is mother and servant is her sons. Who that's our duty, to be here to serve mother, not to violate her. As soon as they play violate mother, how about we just go to the chapter on justice to see what's good when you violate. The peace of society dependeth on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Keep the desires of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of justice lead them aright. Cast not an evil eye on the goods of thy neighbor. Let whatever is his property be sacred from thy touch. Let no temptation allure thee, nor any provocation excite thee to lift up thy hand to the hazard of his life. Defame him not in his character, bear no false witness against him. Corrupt not his servant to create or forsake him. And the wife of his bosom, O tempt not to sin. It will be a grief to his heart, which thou canst not relieve. An injury to his life with no reparation can atone. In any dealings with men be impartial and just, and do unto the mass thou wouldst they should do unto thee. Be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relieth upon thee. Be assured, it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. Oppress not the poor. Defraud not his hire, the laboring man. When thou sellest for grain, hear the whispering of conscience, and be satisfied with moderation. Nor from the ignorance of thy buyer make any advantage. Pay debts which thou owest, for he who gave thee credit relieth upon thine honor, and to withhold from him his due is both mean and unjust. Finally, O son of society, examine thy heart, call remembrance to thy aid, and if in any of these things thou hast transgressed, and make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. Justice. Supreme honors to the Prophet, all right. He was definitely on it. Wait, might as well put master and servant out there too. For all the Moors who thought the master was them. Master's mother. Stop the BS. Master's mother, servant is the sons. On a mundane level, master is, you, and servant is European or whatever. On divine level, master's mother. Repine not, O man, at the state of servitude. It is the appointment of Allah, and hath many advantages. It removeth thee from cares and solicitudes in life. The honor of a servant is his fidelity. His highest virtues are submission and obedience. Be patient, therefore, under the reproofs of thy master, and when he rebuketh thee, answer not again. The silence of thy resignation shall not be forgotten. Be studious of his interests. Be diligent in affairs, and faithful to the trust which she reposeth in thee. Thy time and thy labor belong unto her. Defraud her not thereof, for she payeth thee for them. And thou, who art a master, be just as thy servant, if thou expecteth from her or him fidelity, and reasonable in thy demands, if thou expecteth ready obedience. The spirit of a man is in him. Severity and rigor may create fear, but can never command love. Mix kindness with reproof, and reason with authority. So shall the admonitions take place in his heart, and his duty shall become his pleasure. He shall serve thee faithfully from the motive of gratitude. He shall obey thee cheerfully from the principle of love, and fail thou not in return to give his diligence and fidelity their proper reward. All hail the matriarch. Honors to all the mothers. We give thanks for you. We give supreme thanks for you. Supreme honors to the mothers.
It's not easy being a master neither.
It's not easy. It's definitely not easy being a master. It is definitely not easy being a master. But we give honors to you, masters. Subject just gotta.
Being subject is way easy.
All subject gotta do is make sure he got his apples. He be straight.
Oh yeah, yep.
One subject has his apples, straight. No worries. Zero worries. So you start playing around like you don't need to have no apples. What do you mean orchard?
What? Are you crazy? That's the only way.
The only way.
Old man told me, he said, listen, young man, that's an uphill battle. You never gonna win that. I said, what? What do you mean? Brother, you're not winning that. Leave that alone. You know, he gave me a lot of wisdom with that. Like, even when he the one that told me, even when you win the argument, you feel bad. So, like, what's just lose in the beginning.
Just lose from the
man. You lost. You lost. Whatever it was, I'm pretty sure you did it anyway.
Yeah.
You did it. Don't act like you didn't do it. You did do it. You did do it. You didn't have the apples.
Yep.
Whatever it was, you didn't have the apples. So now you just rap a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And you trying to nitpick with the wrath of Allah. You can't nitpick with the wrath of Allah. You just lose. You just lose.
They think they can battle wrath of Allah. Playing.
Even when you try to put your hands on it, she beats you up. Allah beat you up too. You want to get physical? Okay. Show you that too. Allah is not a game. She does not play.
And since we're talking about mother, sister, we just got some images we'll just put out there. So mother Naeem from Rochester, near Rochester, who always makes her way to Noble Juali Day, always puts her phone to work. So we just want to slide through some of these so the Moors can see how Juali Day went down. I don't know what they're up to. But the mothers are up to something. So it was a good day, as usual. You know, as usual. There's our matriarch there, Mama Mocha. One thing with Juali Day, Mo's always happy when Juali Day comes around. We'll stay happy. Photo bobber in the back. Try to take serious pictures, people photo bob and stuff. Damn, why you got so much, bro? Remember Sheldon, another out of towner, because you know, Moors, they travel to make it here. That's it for that one. That was good. That was good. A little flashback. I think there was more though. That might not be it. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, there was also this one. See this troll right here? Let me just show this troll right here. Where is he at? Right here. This troll right here. He's talking hella BS. Right? Right? Matter of fact, next time I see you go live, invite me on your panel so we can get another. Right? Talking all the BS. Hey, live tonight, 7 p.m. Punkcast was nowhere to be found last night. Oh, my bad, I got busy. Whatever. Oh, don't be a bitch ass now. We'll be live at 7 today. Where you at? Nowhere to be found. Trolling. Talking BS in chats. Trying to be somebody. 1 hour ago. Oh, I'm running now because they're going to answer the question. Typing a whole book or whatever. We didn't read your book. FOH. Stop leaving comments on our stuff. You said you wanted to be here live. Ask questions. Talking crazy. Told you when? Last night. Nah. You got busy. All of a sudden, you're busy. Today, now, again, can't do anything. FOH. FOH. See what else we got up in here. Am I looking for somebody? We're hunting somebody though. There's a little more right there that does the prayer, Brother Durrell. That's it right there. Words came far and wide. Oh yeah, and this was her first visit to the temple. So she definitely had the camera going nuts at class. Yeah, this was the Sunday class. It was on to even the Moors near New York that had their little issues at borders and all of that. But they made it. Well, the ones that could have made it, made it. You know? And here we are at the temple. And then those are the two statues there. This is where the horse said the statues. Saw the statues and went nuts. Tripping the whole time. Couldn't take his eye off them statues. Couldn't take his eye off the statues. Everybody could see each other. Then we got over to the new temple. That was Brother Omar's manifestation. Round table, every class. You know how we do. Let's do that. Yeah, he looks like Cujo because he's my blood. That's why we look alike. That's why we look alike.
Right.
You're not dreaming or anything like that. Yeah, we're blood. I think this was the picture when we found the female statue to the male one with the nails in it. And he was tripping. Oh my God, you guys got 2 of these?
Yeah, crazy.
And then this is a good one right here. The 2 out of the jurisdiction Moors getting their little build on. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, this one's a good one. Right, and there's the little man photo bombing. Photo bombing every picture. Where is he? Those things weren't playing, yo. They weren't playing. Right? So again, the more was breaking down. The more was breaking down in the class, these 2 statues right here. Went in. That straight photo bombing everywhere. Yeah, but now you got some good ones. You got some good ones in there.
You gonna drop a video? They got a video? Is there a video?
Is there what?
Is there a video of Drew Ali Day?
Yeah. We're just editing it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A good. Yeah, there's some work that has to get done on it. There's some work that has to get done.
All right. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So we're just working on that. Again, temple style. Transfer. That's the transfers out here. The bus transfer. And there's 5 principles going in. Woo-wee! See that? See, woo-wee! Got it going in over there. 5 principles. 5 principles going in. 5 principles going in.
Yep.
Yeah, must be going hard. Going hard. When she gets in her stuff, she's out sleeping. So that was the little throwback of Drew Ali Day. Again,
I gotta get up there, man.
Again, we're working on the video. It'll be out momentarily. Still got some editing to do, but you know, bear with it because you gotta make it. It's gotta be proper. But we really learned something today. You know, about looking out for yourself. Don't get caught up. It's crazy out there. Islam to mother who beat their ass when they tried to violate. Drew Ali said flee. She fled and then they still violate. So hey, drop the world on them. No apologies. Drop the world on them. Just because they needed to get it. Honors to all the mothers that are seeing the folly and either calling it out, trying to correct it, or getting the hell out of there. Because you don't need the headaches. These people who got daddy and mommy issues they never dealt with. Now they're adults and you got to deal with their problems. Forget all that. Stay focused. I want to say peace and love to all the Moors. I want to say supreme honors to all the Moors who are doing their servant job properly and recognizing and acknowledging who the master is. And once again, we want to say honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali for all the sacrifices that he made. All the sacrifices he made for us to be here today, to be able to say that we're Moors. You have any closing words, Moor?
And as long as give thanks to the Prophet, give supreme thanks to the Prophet, and give thanks to the Green Sheep, Canaanland Moors for their platform, and give thanks to the chats.
Well, yeah, peace to the chat, Moors. Islam to the chat, Moors. Peace and love, Moors. Islam. Oh yeah, don't forget. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. MHHS, Eyes Wide Open. 347-945-5899. 347-945-5899. 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201. 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751. They tried to set us up, but we made it to the end. I hear it's black screen right now. So, crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. Screen is black. Screen is black, but they can hear stuff. Tripping. Tripping.
Screen went dead, huh? It's black.
Screen went dead. Yeah, it'll be dead then. The screen is black. Shit. I bet you if I ask us. I bet if I ask the screen, I bet if I ask screens, would they want to be black? They wouldn't want to be black right now. I bet no screen would want to be black. No screen. Philips screen. Asus screen. iPhone screen. No screen wants to be black. Why? Because a black screen is useless. Screen is black.
Yeah.
But we got audio.
If your phone goes black, you're mad. Mad if your screen goes black. I'm telling you.
Mad. As the black screen goes, peace and love, boys. Islam.
Yeah. Aha. Ignorance is contagious. Yo, lift your head up, man. You might walk into something. The scene, feathers and turbans, 1913, Moorish Jewish temples in Harlem before conscious stardom. UNIA parade, garbly dressed Moorish as ever, admirals or emirs, catch them in the whirlwind forever. Before Allah, temple of Islam, gods and earth's nations, knowledge of nationality, freed us from plantations, allegations, alterations, transfer ownership, proclamations. Feathers don't mean Moors, cause Congolese amputations, playing on emotions of the people asleep mentally. Still asleep, Drew Ali came over a century ago. Over Although you weren't told, seek and find. Knowledge is water for thought seeds in the mind. Soil conscience. If constant will exercise demons that haunted your vessel, attempted to get between your temples, go from a rotten man to a devil, coming to lower levels and actually love it. Lower self junkies acting like troglodyte monkeys, like puppets. Renaissance is on.
Hold up. We said we might as well do it. We said we might as well do it. This is crazy right now. The screen is black, right? So press 1. Press 1 if you know somebody. Press 1 if you know somebody that looks like this screen right here.
Right. Anybody, please let me know.
Somebody press 1.
Please.
Let me know if you know somebody who looks like the screen right now. Since they're conscious and they know themselves and they call themselves this. Anybody know anybody? Anybody know anybody looks like this? No one? Nope. Lots of zeros, no ones.
Yeah, lots of zeros, no ones.
Zeros only. No ones.
Yeah.
No ones.
Even the screen doesn't even want to be.
Screen doesn't want to be this. I'm pretty sure screen doesn't want to be this.
The screen wants light. The screen wants the light.
But our people playing around.
Screen. Yep.
Our
they
people
just
playing
like the
around.
screen. It just turned off. Just black. Nothing's there.
There's emptiness. There's emptiness. Just black.
You see what you first said? Like, hey, what's going on? Like you're black? Like, you see that? That's exactly how people look at us when you say, oh, that black power.
I'm black. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm black. Black power, whatever.
Right.
They start
what is that?
flicking the light on and off. Hey, flicking the light on and off. Nothing's happening. What's going on? Why is it black? Why is it black in here? I can't see. It's black.
Tell you,
and these people want to be
nobody
that.
wants to be black in the black.
Yeah, somebody look like that screen. That's scary. That's scary if you look like that screen right there.
Yo, if your screen goes black, you go in a panic. She was like, "Oh yeah, look, here we go." Like, yep, that's exactly what they do. That's how they sound too. When they're marching and picketing, the civilized world's like, "Oh, here they go." Yep, screen's black. Yep, here they go. It's black. Yeah, we know it matters. Yeah. Yo, killing themselves.
Oh
killing themselves. Yep, it matters. Yeah, we know. Yeah. The screen is black and it matters.
More said. More said we're crazy.
They better turn that screen back on, because we'll go in on that screen all day.
All night we'll go at the screen.
All day. Like, come on, man. Are you serious? Screen don't even want to be black.
Damn.
Screen is like, yo, I want a birthright too. Right. Give me light.
Give me light. Screen lives matter.
You ever notice, like, even when you turn it off, it goes black. When you turn it on, it has light. You know what I mean? Like, off means black. Off means black.
Oh, why would you want to be off? Why wouldn't you want to be on? Why would you want to be off? Conscious means awake. But you're black? It's just not black. Screen needs a status, Borzad. Borzad, screen needs a status. See,
you was with shit, you had to really look at that. He was like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? When it went black, he was like, here we go. That's exactly how they do them. Oh, yep, here they go. Marching in, picking it. Here they go. Black, black, yeah,
black,
we know.
this and black, that.
Black.
Oh.
Yep, yeah, black, yep, black, we know. And then when, you know, nothing happens, the screen's just black. And, you know, like nothing's happening. You know, you're just black. Like, and then when somebody starts, you know, the screen's black, right? And you know how people start smacking the side of the computer or something? Like,
yeah.
Wham. What's wrong with this thing? You start slapping it. It's black. Slap it. Slap it. It's black.
More said the screen's black, but no power at all.
You can't be black power. Power means on. Black is off. You can't. Black is off.
These words are funny. These words are funny, man. That was good. Islam, Morris. Before we're not able to get everybody locked out on the call laughing at a black screen. Everybody nobody can get out.
Man.
Peace and love, Morris. Islam to all Morris.